Welcome to another episode of The Billy Ho Show. Before we start this time, what I've got here is a couple of box brownies. This is a camera, in case you're wondering what I'm holding. It's just a square box, had a magnifying glass there and a magnifying glass this way, so your photograph was either landscape or horizontal. But anyway, these produced a little photograph which were about that big, and they were very crystal clear if you took a nice photograph. But here's a sample behind me of what those photographs looked like, and they all had little edgy bits around the edge back in the 1940s and 50s. And you undid the back and shoved the film in there, and then you turned this and the film went till it stopped. Take your photograph, wind it again to the next one, wind it again to the next one. And if you thought you took some real good photographs, you just couldn't wait to get to the chemist. And when you got to the chemist, which took maybe 10 days for them to come back, and you finally got them back and you open up the envelope and there they all are. Bit that way, bit of head, bit of tail. You don't always turn out as you'd hope. But anyway, that's what we had back in the day. The old box brownie. This one is an older one, and this one with the fancy front on it came from about 1952 to 1962. So this is about 10 years of this guy. Did exactly what this did. It was just a further model. They made these till about 1964 before they got surpassed by other cameras. But back in our day, you want to take a photograph, you had to sort of look down in the magnifying glass and hope for the best, and then push the button. With me is Gavin, and welcome to our little show, Gavin.
That's good, Bill.
We've got a Ford.
Well, no, we call it a Lincoln.
A Lincoln?
Which is the top of the line of Ford.
Oh, okay. So the Lincoln is the sort of car,
the Rolls Royce of America.
And the business people fly around in that, sitting in the back with a chauffeur, that sort of thing.
Yeah. This one hasn't got the bar or anything like that. It was just a town car, they called it.
Oh, okay. Some of them, I guess, would have had a
partition on it. Yeah, they were the big, more limousine ones. This is actually more for an older couple to cruise across America.
You remember Mad Comics? Mad Comics, it was, I forget what his name was, but anyway, it was a little cartoon where they started off with two V-dubs.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then they sold one of the V-dubs, so they're sitting side by side in their little V-dub, and then as they get older, the cars start getting bigger and bigger, and anyway, they end up in one of these. She's over that side, he's over this side, and that's when they're in the 60s. So when they're in the 20s, they're buzzing around little V-dub. I just thought that was amazing, that little cartoon. Yeah. So tell me about this.
This car, I've been to Oregon quite a bit, and USA, and this one I found it in a shed. It had been sitting there for 18 years.
Wow.
The parents had ordered it specially brand new in 1976 with fully loaded. It was the top of the line when it was built, and with the most extras on it. And when I got there, I heard about it, and it was been sitting in the shed. The parents had died, and it's the first time I've actually bought a car without driving it.
Okay.
And I saw it in a shed, and I walked around it, and I talked to the young guy, the son, and in the end we did a deal, and I actually went out to a service station and got some gas and got a battery, put it in, emptied out the older fuel what was in there, put new fuel in, put the battery in it, turned the key and it started, drove it outside the garage and walked around and said, I'm buying it. So I bought it and cleaned it up and brought it back to New Zealand.
So you just put it in a container?
It came in a container with some of the other cars that I bought.
Oh, yeah. So what do you like about this? What is it?
Well, the point is, what I like about it, it's a typical original American car. I mean, it's still original paint, original vinyl roof, original leather upholstery, even the carpet, so everything's original.
Wow.
And it's only done 68,000 genuine miles. And where are you going to find a American car over 40 years old with this type of condition?
No. So do you take it for a drive, say, on a
Sunday
afternoon?
Yeah, I take it out every now and again, and I take it to shows, and I've got a few other American cars too. I've got a El Camino, I've got a couple of anniversary Trans Ams, I've got another two Lincolns. I even got a rear Marlin 1965 Marlin, and I've got a Riviera and a few other cars.
Yeah.
But this is one of the ones that I seem to like driving. For some reason or other, I'm getting old now,
Yeah, sure.
and I really like driving an older car.
Is it, how many, is it a 3-speed auto?
It's automatic, yeah,
Just
three
you just
speed
stick it in
automatic.
D and off it goes.
Yep, that's right.
Uphill, down, down.
Yeah. Just and you can even go on the freeway and put the cruise control on. And like
really?
in '76, they had cruise control, 8-way seat and power windows. They even got what they call a cigar window. And a cigar window is actually the little window that comes down at the front first, without the big window. That's this one here. That little one there. Yeah. Well, that little window is nicknamed the cigar window because when the Americans were deciding to go across America in these type of big cars, some of the Americans smoked big cigarettes and cigars. So this window was actually designed for to come down first without the big window, and so they could drive with the smoke coming out when they without having air coming into the
Because that looks,
cabin.
the old quarter light window.
That's same as very
but
similar.
that looks a lot better.
Oh well, it's all
me.
electric.
Yeah.
And when you turn the key on and put the switches down, that comes down first. Then the big window comes down, and then when you put it up, the big window comes up, and then that comes up last.
Wow.
So it's quite a complicated system inside.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing, really. Go on. Now, as I say, when you see this vinyl,
Yep.
it's so beautiful. You think it's just come out of the showroom.
And the light here, so it lights up at night.
Yeah, park lights. Yeah, when park lights come on, that comes on.
Wow.
But the upholstery, if you look at it, it's yeah.
And these little cushions, that's how it comes.
Yeah, that's how they come. That's just, as I say, it was top of the line when it was built.
Certainly plenty of room for your legs, isn't it?
Oh, you can just lay it. And not only that, this seat, if you're driving, this seat comes down and reclines right down, so you could actually go to sleep in the passenger seat.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's actually, as I say, vinyl. It's beautiful leather,
Wow.
It's just beautiful.
Can we have a look at the engine?
Yeah, you can have a look at the motor. Yeah. Okay. The only thing I've actually done to it is actually paint the air cleaner, put the signs on it, and put a new battery in it. And otherwise, it's original inside.
Wow.
Still, it's only done 68,000.
It's not an oil bath air cleaner?
No, it's just a dry one, dry air cleaner. And it's the only one I've ever seen with a baffle on the other end.
Oh,
And that's,
okay.
that's like an air baffle to stop the air noise.
Oh, okay.
So it's amazing to me. And these ones are for the opening up the headlights.
Really?
Like the air reservoir.
So they've thought of everything.
Oh, in those days, as I say, this was the equivalent to the Rolls Royce of America.
Wow. There's some great big engines sticking out of cars here, that's for sure. And that's,
Oh yeah,
the one
this
in
is
the
only a minor one compared to some of the other ones.
I'll say. Well, that's absolutely
Yeah.
marvellous,
All right.
Gavin. Can we sit in it?
Sit in it, Bill. Oh,
Oh dear. Now, I got to say, Gavin, that sitting here and looking at all that, that's like a football field.
well, believe it or not, the 74 Lincoln I've got, which is a 2-door,
It's even bigger
it's
still.
got a bigger bonnet. In
Really?
fact, my armrest can't get it.
stretch
This one
along
I
the top
can.
of it.
It's
Really?
another 6 inches longer, the black one. So.
So you're driving this around the city, you'd have to watch yourself, wouldn't you? I mean, I'm sure it's probably no wider than other cars, but it just seems
Well, it's a big
huge.
vehicle, so you actually treat it with respect.
How long is it?
21 foot, something like that.
Goodness me. So you just an ordinary car park, you wouldn't be able to get in it.
Not really, and
No.
as I say, when I go to car parks, I try to get to a mall and get out to the back
Oh, okay.
where there's no cars. Because really speaking, I mean, I don't want to see it hurt.
No.
you know, for a 40-odd-year-old vehicle, I don't want to see it hurt at all.
No, no. And this is
That's an 8-track. That's original 8-track.
Kenny Rogers there. Yeah, can I take it out?
Kenny Rogers, pull it out. Yeah, just pull straight out.
Look at that, folks.
Yeah,
Little tape
and it
in
still
the front
goes.
there.
And when I go to America, I usually find as much 8-tracks as I can, and it still goes.
Well, but that, you know, in 1974, 5,
76.
76. That was Vogue at the time.
Oh, well, that was the Vogue, yeah.
Yeah, wow. And all these little bit lights there just
Yeah,
light
they
up.
all lights up and all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
I'll put the little hula girl in there. Little hula girls are sort of...
Yeah, what you got to have.
Yeah.
I see this is similar to the Holdens.
Yeah, very
the key.
well. The point is, all four are very similar to what they do. The cruise controls and sitting here, you know, you put the cruise control on there.
Wow.
And
So this would be one of the first steering wheels that's actually got something in it.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So if you want to start it, just put the key in it, turn the key. Oh, wait on, I've got to turn the battery off.
Okay.
I turn the battery off.
This is exciting. Sitting in this monster car, and I'm just about going to kick her in the guts. So he's turning on the battery. Things are starting to buzz. Radio's come on.
Okay, Bill, she's ready to go.
And we'll kick her in. Oh, absolutely smooth as a baby's bottom. That's as smooth as a baby's bottom. That's just beautiful. Yeah, wow.
As I say, for 68,000 genuine miles, it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Well, there you go, folks. we've had a bit of a go at a Lincoln. Beautiful. With me is Peter, and Peter, welcome to our little show. And what we've got here is a Daimler Ute. And I have to say, I haven't seen one before. Mind you, I live in the North Island, so that probably doesn't help.
Well, that's the only one there is.
Oh, okay, that's probably why I haven't seen one.
And it was built in the North Island.
Oh, was it?
Built in Levin.
Oh, okay, it's a bit south, however. And it's a Daimler. What's the difference between Daimler and Jag?
The difference between Daimler and Jag for this model of vehicle is the engine, basically. The Daimler has a V8, 2.5 litre. Jaguar has a 6-cylinder engine.
There was some talk about a lot of hose clips with Jaguar.
Well, there is, because there's a lot of hoses under them.
I suppose so.
But no more or less than this has got anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just heard that somewhere. It's got a lot of hose clips. However, that's by the by. And so, the man who did this, why would he have done it in the first place?
George did it because he was a bodybuilder, and he's done a number of English vehicles into conversions. And this particular vehicle was done because he needed a vehicle to deliver his weekend papers that he delivered. So Sunday Sport, Sunday Star, and, you know, sports magazines we used to get on Sundays in the 80s. So that's part of why he did that. Took him 3 years.
And you wouldn't know, looking at it, that it wasn't factory.
Very well done, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Very, very.
Yep.
Yep.
Even the little logo up on the side there, it's just a great little touch.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sets it off, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And the wire sports wheels, I mean, that little lug, is that just one turn and the whole thing comes
Well,
off?
that's several turns to undo that. They're what they call knock-ons or spinners, and a lot of Jaguars you'll see this model, Mark II Jaguar Daimler V8, have a lot of wires with what they call spinners and knock-ons. Of course, that goes back to the racing days.
Yes, you see them doing that.
Yeah, back in the 50s and spin them off and on. Yeah.
Amazing. Imagine trying to clean all those.
Yeah, we won't comment about that on TV.
Oh, okay.
It's not a lot of fun. So
Fair enough.
they're sides to clean, to be actually. Once they look clean, they're lovely, but
When they're not, they're not.
when they're not, they're not. So I use a water blaster. I'll cheat.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Do that.
Yeah, the Jags and the Daimlers had the walnut dash.
Your walnut burr dashes and finished. Yeah,
That's what's in this. Like it's wood. It's actual wood.
it's actually walnut burr. Yeah, laminate. It's actually a laminate on a mahogany base.
So, where do they get the timber for that?
Getting hard to source nowadays, but
I bet it is.
they used to. I suppose they machined it off burr walnut trees in the States and in the UK. Yeah, you can still get it, but it's hard to come by. It's getting the people to relay it is the hard part now.
So that's something that's disappearing.
That's a disappearing art. Yes.
Yeah. Like a lot of old cars. I mean, you see the young guys today, or on their computers. Now, how do you do this?
Yeah.
Back in our day, you had to sort of know all about it. You had to think about it, and then you
had to read about it.
Yeah.
research it,
Yeah.
work out how to do it, yeah.
Or you had some old guy show you.
Well, in my case, yes, that was the case as well.
Yeah, yeah. But these days, I mean, they put a computer on it.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, something I saw the other day was, this is how we. The boy asked the mechanic, "How did you do it in your day?" And, with the computer. And so he opened up the bottom, put a couple of clips on it, and he had an old typewriter. I thought that was
pretty cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah, good answer. Yeah. Yep.
Well, George has done an outstanding job. It certainly stands out in the crowd of all these cars. Bang! Look at that. You haven't seen one of those before. The old Daimler Ute.
That's right. We get all sorts of comments. We were in Auckland with it a couple of years ago. We'd come down to Tauranga and we're driving around Tauranga, and there's a couple in the car chased us, stopped us to say, "Well, what have you got?" Never seen it. And this was a 8:30 at night around Tauranga. So.
Yeah.
And we stopped at Taupo and it just drew crowds like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
It's been extremely well restored by the people that restored it, the Tin Rabbit, and it's marvellous to drive. It's a lovely thing to drive.
I bet it is.
It just goes nice on the road. So.
Yeah, lovely cover on the back, little rails down there, just add a little touch.
Yeah, it adds to it, doesn't it? Yeah,
anyway,
it's
my
well
friend,
proportioned.
thank you very, very much.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
There you go, folks. The old Daimler Ute. When I say old, well, it's not all that old. It's but there it is. What I've got here is a copy of Talking Trucks. This is a book I wrote a couple of years ago, and it's the history of New Zealand trucking, and it's all from the programs that I did between 2013 and 2016. I'm going to let this go for $25, so it's a special. If you'd like your copy, there's my phone number, 027 277 0717. Just send me a text or email me, billhohepper@extra.co.nz to get your copy. $25 and the history of New Zealand trucks. The second Wheels at Wanaka event is on this coming Easter in 2021, and that's on Saturday and Sunday the 3rd and 4th of April. They're planning a bigger and brighter event with more vehicles and machines working as well as on display. Cars, trucks, tractors, traction engines, scrapers, dozers, graders, the lot. If it's got wheels, it'll be represented at this amazing event. They're having an earth moving only day on Good Friday the 2nd of April, and there's a $10 entry for this. So go to the webpage www.wheelsatwanaka.co.nz for more information. We'll be there filming the event, so we look forward to seeing you there. In this little section, I'm going to be talking to Tyran from Progressive Automotive, and they're in Howick. And Tyran, you're just about to, have you taken it over?
I've taken over on Monday the 1st of February.
Oh, so you're here.
That's
this is day 3.
That's right.
And what they specialise in is this car here, that car there, there's a Rambler a bit down the road there, and they basically look after the engine part of your classic car. Is that pretty much right, Taran?
Yeah, and all suspension brakes related to them as well.
So you don't do panel at all?
No, we don't do any panel paint, no.
So if you've got a dicky carburetor, a failing distributor or any of those things, yes, you're the man to come and see. Now tell me what's been before. You've taken over from Mike, and Mike's been here for 20 odd years.
That's correct.
Servicing cars that have been to the beach hop and other places like that.
Yes, we've had, all your Chevs, Fords from 30s right through to modern.
Oh, okay.
All of the above, yeah. All your modern cars as well.
So have you worked here the whole time as well?
I've been here for about 10 years.
Okay, so you've been working for Mike or with Mike?
For Mike for about 10 years.
So he's passed on all his experience.
All his knowledge.
You don't do it like that, boy, you do it like this.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what will be the highlight of those 10 years for you?
Oh, just some of the old cars we've got the privilege of working on, like it's actually, you enjoy doing the job.
So hearing stories of very valuable cars have come in.
We've had a couple of Aston Martin DB5s come through the door worth a small fortune.
Like more than $1 million, $500,000?
Yeah, up towards around that 2 million.
Nearly 2 million.
Yeah.
So you have to watch where you're headed in here, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want to scratch it.
Yeah, cover them in blankets and take it nice and easy.
Yeah, right. So you look after people's car, and that's important. Now, this Ford, this is the original first Ford Thunderbird.
Yes, I think so.
And has it got a bit of history that you know about?
Yeah, apparently it was car producers in the States, and it was shared around in a few movies back in the day. I can't tell you what movies.
Oh, okay.
The ladies apparently got the list of them somewhere.
It's a pretty snazzy car with this little round sort of porthole.
That's right.
In the back there.
Yep.
Can we have a look at the engine?
Yeah.
The other thing about this, folks, is the way this bonnet opens. Most cars sort of go up to the front there, and I'm remembering cars that actually you click on the side and they go that way, you click on the other side, they come this way. So you can open it up either or. But anyway, come and have a look at this engine. So 56, that's nearly 70 years old.
That's right. You got to expect a little bit of that.
70 years old. Wow. So what sort of carburetor is this?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay.
It was actually a new one to me.
Oh, right. You haven't seen that before?
No.
So how do you know how to fix it?
Talk to the powers that be.
Oh, okay.
The older wiser men, and they get into it.
Oh, have you got a workshop manual at all?
Yes, he's got a workshop manual for it that he's been going through, I think.
Oh, well, that's always handy, having a workshop manual.
Yeah.
Looks like quite a modern one, taken from an old one. So if you've got an old car and you've got that workshop manual, it just makes life so much easier.
So it's a Holly 4-barrel downdraft.
There you go, downdraft. Previous to this, they had updrafts. You heard of those?
No.
No, in the 1930s and 40s, some of those early cars that the air got sucked upwards, not downwards. Interesting. So this isn't a very big V8, is it, or is it?
No, I think this is just a little baby.
Like 261, somewhere around about there?
Oh, 272.
272. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
There. So, yeah, and that's a generator?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's sort of showing its age, isn't it, with the old
generator.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is just a fan, it's not a turbo.
No, that's just
Some people will say, oh shit, that's a turbo.
an old school turbo. Yeah, that's it. No, it's just a fan. Blow some air around in the car. Yeah.
So Tyrone, can you tell me your phone number?
Yeah, our phone number here is 534-8604, and we're at 1-112 Vincent Street, Howick.
Howick, that's not hard to find.
Hey.
Yeah, so, no, I just think this is just an amazing car. Look, let me have a look at this. This little porthole of a window here, that's actually quite unique. This comes off, doesn't it? This hard top, it'll just come off and makes it a convertible.
Don't know if I'd be keen enough to do it, but...
No, it's just a couple of little clips in the back there that does that. Have a look on that
Clips up
cab.
top.
Yeah, it's got a gear stick. Pull it down into automatic. And the dashboard, the little oval dashboard of the time.
That's it, you can't beat the old dashes.
No, mine's a bit like that.
They're quite cool.
And then when you come to the back here, we've got this, I think this is called a Californian, where the wheels becomes part of the back. And there's a lot of cars that have this little extension out the back, then I think it's called a Californian. Anyway, and then you get into the round tail lights, which like the Ford Falcon next door has the same sort of little round tail lights. So it might just be a little Ford theme, runs through a lot of Fords, that the round tail lights is part of the deal. Amazing. So there you go, folks. Young Tyrone starting out with his own business, trained by Mike, who had the respect of classic car owners around the country to fix their cars. If you're having a problem with your car, why not give Tyrone a call at Progressive Automotive on 09534 8604, or you can email them at tyran.progressiveautomotive@gmail.com. Leatham Road is about 70 k's west of Blenheim, heading towards St Arnold. In fact, the Rainbow Road that goes to Hamner Springs is just a few k's further on. We're doing the Leatham Road track as our first track in our 2021 four-wheel drive season. You can read all about the Leatham Road on the Department of Conservation site. On our trip we passed 2 dog huts, and you're very welcome to stay in them and use their facilities. The first is about 16k in, the second about 25k in. Docs say if you're going to use this track, you should be aware of the current weather forecasts, because if the rivers are up, you won't be able to cross them. Leitham Road Track heads up into the Molesworth Station, and the Molesworth Station is one of the biggest stations in the country. Our team of intrepid four-wheel drivers consists of 7 trucks. We have one person driving my red Mahindra who's never done anything like this in his life before. The reason for starting with the Leitham Road Track, it has a good variety of terrains to navigate, including some river crossings. Some of our crew have never been to the South Island, and this is a whole new four-wheel drive experience for them. Then we have our usual crew of people who have been coming with me for over 18 years now. By the way, this is my 21st year doing four-wheel drive treks. I'll introduce our team as the trek goes on. One of the important aspects of these trips is the tyres. Most of our team have mud terrain tyres, but some have ordinary road tyres. It's actually quite amazing just where ordinary road tyres will go. I'm not too fussed though, because we all have the necessary recovery gear with us, including 4 trucks being equipped with winches. In the Toyota we have young Liam, and Liam's travelling by himself, and this is the first time he's been in the South Island, and he's really looking forward to pushing his Toyota as far as it will go. And there's the road tyres I was talking about on my red Mahindra, and look at that. Bounce, 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 no problem at all. And Bob and Lee, who have all-terrain tyres, which are just a little bit better than road tyres, he too gets across that little bit of a river, no worries at all. Coming across now we have our resident Jeep, and he's had that on the trek for about 10 times now, and it's just amazing where that machine will go and what we'll do in terms of recovery. Next up is Brian and Chris. Brian's a farmer, Chris is an orchardist, and they brought along their 6-cylinder Toyota. It's got all the bells and whistles and snorkel and everything else. He's got mud terrain tyres and he's fully equipped. Now we travel on towards the hut in the black Mahindra, and a few puddles and what have you, but as this track gets further on, it starts to get closer in. In other words, it's getting narrower and narrower. And there we have the hut, and this is as far as we're going on this trip, and we're starting to head our way back out again. So back into the river we go, which is always fun, and a lot of people who come on our treks really enjoy the water crossings, and if you have a snorkel then there's no worries at all, and if you don't have a snorkel, trucks like this one has an air cleaner behind the main light, the headlight, and so that just means as long as the water's not going past that, you should be fine. If the water does go past that, you have the possibility of hydraulicking the engine, which is not good, and we'd have to tow you out and put you on the bus and send you back home, because your four-wheel drive wouldn't be going anywhere after that. And here are the Toyota boys, they're coming back. There's young Liam with his Toyota. He's really looking forward to doing this whole trip, and our next little journey is crossing the Mackley River, so I'm sure he's going to look forward to that. Here come Bob and Lee. They've been coming with us for years, and Bob's is our actual trek mechanic. Ralph and Jan, and they've been coming, as I said, in that Jeep for years, and it's, as I said before, it's amazing just what it does. So we're heading our way back out now to the main road, and we'll be staying at Nelson this tonight, and the boys and girls will look back on this as their first trip and think, wow, that was pretty good. One of the other members on our trip is young Ralph, and Ralph is also a mechanic, and he drives this very well equipped, what we call Rescue 1 in the Nissan Safari. So next week we're going to be crossing the Mackley River, so I look forward to doing that.